When you hear entrepreneurship, you just think success, money, goals, sales, go, 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 go. And when you get to a stage of success, all of a sudden, happiness is left behind, and then you start feeling unfulfilled. So what you need along the journey is both happiness and success along the way. And so for me, I've always been about happiness. I think happiness is what led me into business. So when money wasn't there doing business, I stayed sane. Money is a byproduct of something else, and I think entrepreneurs need to know that.
This is Action Jackson, motivational speaker and a youth coach. Over the last 16 years, I've had the privilege and the pleasure of traveling to different schools, colleges, and universities throughout the whole nation. I don't know if you've ever been around people who are smarter than you, better than you. And in your mind, you feel like no matter how hard you tried, there was no way you were gonna catch up. I had goals and I had dreams, and these voices were the ones that arrested my dreams. And once again, I would be sentenced to that mental prison where my goals, dreams, and aspirations were tormented by self-doubt, fear, and what would people say? I care about my dreams. So when it gets tough, dream big, act now, never give up. I wrote 800 letters to 800 different schools. Only 2 people replied. I kept trying. Watch this. It's a battle, and there's no battle without bruises. There's no effort without error. You will get bruised. Just keep trying. Keep moving, and you'll be okay.
Mr. Jackson.
How you doing, sir?
How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing very well.
Wow. Good to this one is gonna be fun, right? you know, when you have guests that you already know too well.
Yeah.
And you have guests where maybe you just meet them for the first time. It's always different because I have different types of guests. Some have been, mentors, some have been people who aspire, to do some things they're doing already. But for you, it's almost like I'm talking to my friend today.
I know, it's nice.
Thanks so much for coming all the way from Kent to Bromley.
Yeah.
This episode of the Wealth and Business Podcast is brought to you by our partner and sponsor, Ramsey & White. Ramsey & White is an award-winning specialist intermediary covering property, finance, wealth management, and estate agency. The Ramsey & White team can help you secure or source funding for your buy-to-lets, your HMOs, your commercial development, holiday lets, portfolio acquisition. They also offer financial reviews covering pension and investment. Not restricted by lenders or locations, the team at Ramsey & White will help you build momentum covering or growing your investment portfolio. Feel free to contact Ramsey & White, who is our partner and our sponsor for this episode of the Wealth and Business Podcast. The links to contacting Ramsey & White will be somewhere around the show notes. Make sure to reach out to them, as this company has actually helped me build my property portfolio over the last 6 years.
So Jackson,
Yes.
you are a motivational speaker, and you do a lot of work around the importance of being happy to build a successful business, and the importance of staying motivated, staying inspired in business. Why is this something that is so important for entrepreneurs to be aware of, that happiness plays a key role in success?
Because when you hear entrepreneurship, you just think success, money, goals, sales, go, 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 go. And when you get to a stage of success, all of a sudden, happiness is left behind. And then you start feeling unfulfilled after a while. So what you need along the journey is both happiness and success along the way. And so for me, I've always been about happiness. I think happiness is what led me into business. So I kept the happiness. So when money wasn't there doing business, I stayed sane.
Okay.
2020, I lost about 250,000 pounds.
No depression?
Okay, no depression, mate.
Are you serious?
That's all right. Because I was sitting on a cushion of fulfillment. And happiness was my cushion. So it was just numbers in my account that went down, not me. And so I was able to tap into my real account, which was fulfillment and happiness. And that now, profit is back up, because I know where my real account is. Money is a byproduct of something else. And I think entrepreneurs need to know that.
Whoa. You shocked me on that one, because when I lost 150,000 pounds in my Nigerian business, I thought the whole world was crumbling on me.
Yeah.
I actually went through depression, and I actually felt like literally quitting and just giving it all in.
Yeah.
Mine was so bad. So bad. I went through a dark time. And you said I lost over 200, and it didn't matter.
It's just figures. If you look at it, it wasn't in a safe, and they took it. It was literally, it was numbers. Can you imagine how
you lost a business?
Yeah. So numbers going up and down, up and down. And so for me, the reason why is I've learned from people like you. Oh, he went through that. Okay. What can I do to make sure I don't go through the depression avenue when money gets lost? And so what I do is I build myself a very, very good base of emotional well-being and strength. And I identify more with what creates money than the money that I have in my bank account. That's why I make lots of money all the time. It's a lot easier because I know the true source.
Okay. So many people listening to this now will say, okay, that's good for you, that's bad for him, or that's bad for him, that's good for him. But the reality of entrepreneurship is that every entrepreneur is in this consistent chasing.
Yeah. Well, check it. Okay, so entrepreneurship can be a game to you. What narrative do you put around entrepreneurship? Is it a game? Is it a life and death situation? To me, entrepreneurship is about serving humanity. And because entrepreneurship is serving humanity for me, I have to start from a certain point. Now, because it's chasing, once you attach your soul and your identity to that chase, you are going down a downward spiral, because as you and I know, business is not this consistent thing. Tomorrow morning, something can come out and wipe you out totally. And that's why you have to build yourself that base first. And we have to be very careful who we listen to, because some people's narrative may become your narrative. Oh, he went bankrupt and he got depression, whereas he went bankrupt, he wrote a book and got, a different outcome. And for me, I'm saying to myself, well, there are many things that make who I am.
Yeah.
My family, my daughters, my wife, my faith, my health, all of that, then business. Business is probably number 12 on the list.
You're taking me to this place. I'm trying to okay. All right. I think the easiest way we're going to attack this conversation is, let me get some coaching.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
Because it's almost like the reason why I'm doing this is I always love to be very real.
Yes.
I've been an entrepreneur that started from nothing to be where I am right now. And I am on a journey.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those entrepreneurs that's going to tell you I'm there yet. I'm there now. So I've achieved everything. No, I am an entrepreneur on the journey. So regardless of where my financial success look like right now, I see it as a journey every single day.
Yeah.
Whatever I have helped other individual to become very successful as well. Yes, it's a journey. So for me, you saying what you said now, yes, I'm a very happy person. Don't get me wrong. I'm a very happy person. And you said, okay, I've got my wife, I've got my kids, and then every other thing after. But I do also think that, yes, we have the wife, we have the kids, but if success is also missing, it does affect the happiness part.
Yeah, but so they are the success. So I measure them. So part of my measurement metrics is how many times did I get to take my daughter to the nursery? How many times did I get to actually have bath time? How many times did we go to the park? How many times did we go to Tesco's, buy picnic stuff, and then go to the park and play? So I measure all of that, okay? There were times where my card would decline at the shop, yeah? And I would get home feeling like, ugh. But then I'll see my girls, it's like, yeah. Because I know around the corner, opportunities will come, money will come back again. One thing I've learned is there are seasons with business and there are seasons with the balance of your bank account.
Yeah.
And so when you understand what the seasons are and you're aware of it, it won't affect you as much. And so when there's the dry season, I know that I've got that buoyancy through family. Because otherwise, if you're not careful, it will bring you all the way down. And so when business lets me down, family picks me back up. So I'm always measuring what's my connection with my wife, my daughter, and all of that. So, okay, business, you've let me down. I'm getting my filling. So imagine if you've got, like, say, 5 different buckets to fill.
Yeah.
And business only fills one of them. So if business lets me down, the 4 buckets are always full. And when my wife annoys me, and it goes down, that's okay. My daughters, and then vice versa, because she annoys me, I annoy her. This is a relationship. So you have to be very careful. How you fill in your life buckets? Do you even know your life buckets?
Do you even know your life buckets?
Because most people only have 1 bucket, business.
You know what? You know why I'm doing the devil's advocate on this interview? Because I went through this. In 2016, I went through all of this. So I lost my business, in 2015. Towards the end of 2015, I lost that business, and I went through that part. Myself and my wife got to a place of 3 divorce attempts, which is in my new book anyway, The Test. We had 3 divorce attempts. Because there wasn't flow, there wasn't happiness, there wasn't nothing. So this is the first time I'm having this kind of conversation, because you're somebody that I see every single day. And when you talk business, it's happiness first. It took me a failure. It took me a loss. It took me so many dark things. Even today, I'm more godly than I was in 2015. It actually took me, 2015 to actually believe God.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, wake up call.
Yeah, it was a wake-up call. So I call it the rebirth. And if you see, that's one of the reasons why I wrote The Test, transition from the ordinary to the extraordinary. Because for me, that was when I transitioned from the ordinary to the extraordinary. Yes, money has been part of that part. Happiness is part of that part now. And it's that rediscovery of the aligning of who I've become. Because before then, it was do or die business, right? Business has to work. And obviously that's no wonder when I lost all of that, I went through that depression. I was in that dark mode because it felt like the whole world was crumbling and down on me. And this is something a lot of entrepreneurs don't know. A lot of entrepreneurs will suffer today because, especially when you are starting, right? It's so important that you understand, what does start look like for you? What does grow look like to you? What does, thrive look like to you? Actually scale before thrive. What does scale look like to you? And all these different things is found in who you are in that part. Because if you're unhappy, you're already doomed to fail.
A lot of entrepreneurs are doomed to fail on day one. It's a journey. You have to ask yourself, why am I doing it? Your why is stronger than the hows. Why am I doing this? If I'm doing this just so that I can make money and be famous, then you're doomed to fail. But if I'm in this in order to add incredible value to humanity through my business is a vehicle. It's a vehicle, but most people have banked their whole life on the vehicle. The vehicle will sometimes break down. It's okay. But the destination shouldn't. The journey shouldn't. And I think what most people, and it's a cool thing, entrepreneurs becoming this, back in the day, it was like, I would like to be a rapper one day. Everybody wanted to be a rapper at some point in time. I'm not going to lie. But now entrepreneurship is the new I want to be. Even 15-year-olds want to be entrepreneurs. Why though? Money and attention. They want that, but not realizing that money and attention is a byproduct of something deeper, which most people don't talk about, don't look at, and they just skim over it. And I think with most of entrepreneurs starting, if you start with the right why, that why would take you through any storm. And my why is connect and serve. And even in the midst of that depression and losing 150, whatever, there were still humans that needed you. You could have served your way out of that, which is what you've done. Service is the secret to success. And so money's gone. I always say the balance of your bank account is an indication of how much you've served humanity. If there's no money in the bank account, you're not serving.
Interestingly, you said that, because after I went through that dark time, I built a 7-figure business. I've raised over 1.5 million pounds, right? And trust me, who gave me that? People.
And so when you miss the number one equation of business, it's people. There's a common denominator to every product and every service. It's people.
People, yeah.
When you learn to love people, learn to serve people, learn to make people feel significant, learn to make building a relationship your number one priority. When I saw you, I didn't see your bank balance.
No.
Okay. Your personality was what, I was like, oh, I like him. He's cool. That was it. And next time I saw him, here he is again. Here he is on Instagram. Bond. If that wasn't there, I won't be sitting here today. I call it the character currency. The relationship currency is what builds cash currency. If you can become an expert in building relationship, genuine relationship, not what can I get out of it, you are a winner.
I 100% agree with you. When you genuinely learn how to build relationship with people, you're a winner.
Yeah.
And in today's world, this is something that a lot of entrepreneurs are not talking about. Especially new startups.
Yeah.
It's all about, the money.
The money. Well, I mean, whose fault is that? Because, I guess the narrative that everybody's pumping from the top down when you look on social media, it's about, hi, if you click here, I'm going to teach you how to build a 7-figure business versus, hi, if you click here, I'm going to teach you how to build quality relationship with the people around you. It's like, how's that going to buy me what I want? But it's only between close quarters. I look nowadays, I'm thinking, wow, because 26 years in business, 6-figure business, doing what I love. Just recently, I calculated
26
years in business.
How old are you?
I'm 43.
I'm 43 too. 26 years in 6-figure business.
26 years in 6-figure business.
Whoa. Okay. Successful.
Super successful.
Have you always been a happy person, and did you build this 26 years of happiness, or how did that come about?
Well, so that's the thing. I took the happy man into service. Service then turned into business. So if you take my business away, dude, I'm still going to be happy. Hello.
Whereas I discovered this happiness part when everything went the other way.
There you go. So for me, I think this is very important in terms of really developing ourselves first before you develop the entrepreneur. You're human first, entrepreneur second. When you cater for the human first, entrepreneur second, it won't hurt you as much. What you did was, let's focus on the entrepreneur because money, we need it. And so when that went down, guess what? You went down with it.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, okay, I've got multiple ways of expressing my gifts. So business, do what you need to do. I'm cool.
I've said this before, and even on the book launch, I said this was one of the reasons why God took it away in 2015.
To expose your vulnerability.
To expose me to become this new person.
Yeah.
And that was the rebirth. Because sometimes, and this is one of the things I say to people, that you have to observe the challenge, acknowledge it, face it, go through it.
Exactly.
And that's why my book is called The Test.
Yeah.
So you're going to be tested, right? Through your own ways or through the ways you've created. And when you are tested in that ways you've created, then you transition, from the ordinary to the extraordinary. Yeah. And to be honest, we never actually become the true extraordinary because it's a journey. Nobody gets to the destination in this life.
Yeah, it's a journey.
Obviously, contentment is key. And somebody once asked me, are you content? And I say, yes, I am contented now. Though I'm not where I want to be, but I'm happy with what I've achieved. The way you give thanks to a pound, if you can acknowledge a pound, you would acknowledge a million.
Oh yeah.
But if you don't acknowledge a million, how are you going to get a billion?
Yeah. And I think also when my wife and I went through these financial challenges, she had a different way of dealing with it versus me. I was cool. I was all right.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm not the numbers in the account. And what God said to me in that moment was, who you are when there's no money will tell me who you're going to be when there is money.
There's no money.
Because your true identity is in you, not in the cash. Although, don't get me wrong, when those financial situations come, they do rock you a little.
They do.
I did, whoa, okay, all right, how are we going to pay for that? How are we going to pay for this? How are we going to pay for that? But I knew it was a lesson of understanding where my true wealth comes from. So that means when you place me in listen, I can build a 6-figure business in any industry, anywhere around the world within 90 days. Experience of human and service. I've got the secret. Easy. That's why it's easy. I look at industries, I'm like, I can go in there and smash it. Because the secret is like the secret key. Secret key. It's human. Study human, love human, serve human. Study human, love human, serve human. Most people, okay, one girl said to me, I want to sing. Yeah, then get on the bus and start singing. Yeah, but she's waiting to be discovered. Imagine if she got on the bus and sang every day and someone recorded it and posted it online every day. All of a sudden, people see her as a singer that sings on the bus every day.
Yeah.
Guess what? She gets traction. She gets the audience. Then
what was the guy again who used to be a busker? What's his name again? Ed Sheeran.
Yeah. He just took his gift and served it. People are waiting to be discovered. No, give yourself the permission. Go, do it. You want to serve people. You know, I want to be a coach to women. Well, there's women walking past your house every day. Stand outside your house. Every woman you see, stop them and say, how are you doing? I'm a coach. I would love to serve you. People overthink this entrepreneur thing because they're busy thinking about themselves, not the people that need what needs to be served. Why did Amazon is number one? They're obsessed with service.
Serving people.
People, not themselves. When they sit around the table, they're not talking money. They're talking service, innovative service, quicker service, effective service. What are you as an entrepreneur talking? My website, my brand. When you talk, look at how many "my" are in your conversation, then you know who you're really serving.
Yeah. And that's what happened to me until 2015.
Yeah.
Right? That was what happened to me. It was about the profits.
Yeah.
You know, it was the next move. But when I went through that, you know, challenge in 2015, I came out the other side. I discovered how much creativity I have. I realized how much I wanted to win with people, and I realized so many different things. You know, that it's almost like it's recoupled and assembled a new being.
Yeah.
And today, and when I go places and people ask me, oh, why are you like that? Because I'm like that because I had to understand some certain things in life, and I had to go through a dark journey. Yeah. I really love how you know, I agree with you 100% about being happy, serving human first, serving happiness first. Because my last episode I just had, and I said, if you're not happy within, a lot of people are focusing on the exterior and damaging the interior.
You could be successful and not be happy, because what it takes to be happy is so simple and so easy. My daughter now on a Sunday afternoon will sit with flour and water on the kitchen floor and just make a whole mess. Mom doesn't like that. We don't care. We're having fun. There was the other day we were in the living room and she had Rice Krispies. She didn't want any milk. She just wanted to eat it by itself. I'm like, cool, go ahead. As she was eating, she grabs a handful and throws it in my face. Most parents would be like, I look at her dead in the eye. I reach into the bowl with a handful and throw it back in her face. She gets up. She does the same thing, and we're having a food fight in the living room. Meanwhile, Mom is upstairs. Okay. And then in the split second as we were doing that, she's like, Daddy, this is fun. In that moment, I know what's happening in her brain and in her heart. Her brain has now created a fun with Daddy, boom, stored in her heart and in her mind.
She'll remember that for the rest of her life.
Remember that for the rest of her life. How much is that worth? Take that to the bank and cash it.
You can't. Priceless. My son says to me, Daddy, stop kissing me. I said, I kiss you because I love you. You know, I hug him because I never got hugged.
You see?
By my father.
There you go.
I kiss him. My dad never kissed me.
Yeah.
My son says, Daddy, that looks weird. I'm like, no, I'm your father.
And you do know that there is a science that backs how many times a child gets a physical being held. When a child is born, the more you kiss them and hold them, it increases their level of intelligence, the physical connection.
Yeah.
And so these are the things that actually affects the man that then goes out to run the business. Now you realize why we have entrepreneurs falling into depression, because they haven't fixed the person and they think business is going to plug that hole, that love is going to, Don't make that mistake. Happiness first. But let me release a podcast about happiness. Who's going to listen to, who's going to come to the seminar?
If it's not money, people don't listen.
There you go. And so I started to look at my brand. I was like, okay, cool. I need to pivot. Because this happy guy. But you don't know how much it's earning. Because I don't talk about how much I earn. I get paid in 45 minutes what some people would get paid in a month. This month, I only work 10 days. I don't have to work for the rest of the month. That's it. Because of this thing called happiness.
You know, you said something there, you know, this is the man being grow up going outside to try and run a business, being the entrepreneur, but because he hasn't actually identified this, these simple things that we're just having a chit chat about right now as an importance. Because let's take one step back a little bit, right? How you wake up upset in the morning is how the whole day, how you treat people, except somebody else find a way to bring you up.
Morning routines are exceptional. I make it a duty that I have to wake up with gratitude. I wake up, I'm like, oh, another day. If I'm off that morning, I'm very sensitive to it. I don't know where this feeling has come from. Okay, this is not me. All right. First thing, start the morning with movement. I always start the morning.
I see you live these days.
Every morning. And the reason why I start the day with movement is when you go into movement, you shake off whatever it is you put into the sleep realm. And then endorphins are released in your body and you're ready for the day. The day I don't run or do exercise, I feel a difference. Like this morning, I didn't do my exercise, so I feel a bit, but I've spent about, an hour with 300 kids before coming here. So I've got my little, so now I can come and pour out. Most entrepreneurs are running on an empty tank. Are you crazy? No meditation in the morning, no movement. Where are you getting your inspiration from? That's why you don't get good ideas. Between the drive and here, I've had a 6-figure idea between coming from here to there. I get them every day. They come to me like butterflies. And this is why starting a 7-figure, 8-figure business is easy, because
once you build a 6, you have to build a 7. And because you've gone through that journey of building it, all right, and you know what it takes to build one. Exactly. It's like you can't give what you can't give what you don't have. You can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah, and that's why for me, I love entrepreneurship and I love entrepreneurs, and I really do want to get into a place of mentoring and guiding them through what it really means to look after yourself on the way to 7 figures, 6 figures, 5 figures, whatever figure, because you don't want to lose a marriage or your mentality or your mind as a result.
Yeah. As an entrepreneur, what I do the most is, because property is what I do, and, I tell people all the time, property is not what's going to make you super wealthy tomorrow. There are a lot of things that makes you wealthy behind property. So for example, what makes you wealthy in property is not how much of money you got in your bank account. It's the level of creativity, and it's obviously fixing self. Right? Your ability to understand when to leverage, your ability to understand when to finance a project. So these are the different things that makes you wealthy in property. Otherwise, everybody can go and buy 10 houses.
Yeah, of course.
I've seen people own 20. I've seen someone very close to me that own 20 properties. They're still broke.
Okay.
Because there are other things that needs, I was having a conversation with a woman who eventually became a client the other day. Her husband died and left £3 million worth of asset, no mortgage. And she came through and we were talking and everything. She said, I'm broke. She was looking poor, very depressed. We go into a deep side of a conversation. We realized she had a property, non-encumbered, basically trashed up in somewhere in Hackney. And she said, I'm broke. I don't have money. So in my mind, that is somebody that's not even, first of all, identifying what it is in the within, not to talk about what it is in the exterior.
Yeah.
And a lot of entrepreneurs are stuck in that way of thinking, not understanding the vital role and, a happy entrepreneur can become the greatest success financially, spiritually, mentally, and otherwise. So I really, really, appreciate what you said there. So how can entrepreneurs practice this game of happiness?
Yeah, I love it. 3G. Remember that. The first G is gratitude. Obsess over gratitude. When I mean gratitude is a measure of what has already been. So you don't have to create gratitude. You're giving thanks for Wi-Fi, this microphone. As I was driving here today, I stroked my steering wheel because I'm like, this car has taken me up and down the country for years and hasn't given me any problem. I'm so thankful for this car because it supports what I do. I'm so thankful for Wi-Fi because it allows me to connect with the world. I'm so thankful for water. When you engage in gratitude on a day-to-day basis actively. The other day, I was just staring at my daughters and my wife. I'm so grateful for the two of them, my 2 daughters and my wife. Gratitude really fills your heart, and there's a science that backs that. When you're thankful, your tank will be full.
Wow.
So I'm always grateful. That's why I can never lack, because there's always going to be something. Let me tell you, even on your, God forbid, even on your deathbed, I'm grateful for this bed. Gratitude is the first. The second G is growth. Measure your growth. Most entrepreneurs are so obsessed with the third G that they don't measure the second G. The second G is growth. How far have I come? Oh, wow, I've done this, I did that. I was rubbish at that, now I got better at this. Keep a journal of your gratitude, keep a journal of your growth, and keep a journal of your goals. Because here's the quote I heard recently, okay? You can achieve your goals without growing. And you can't grow without achieving your goals. I can give you 10 million right now, but you haven't grown to achieve that goal. But if you learn the journey to 10 million, guess what happens? If the 10 million goal, you've got the growth. That's why I can start another business in any industry, because growth is the measurement of my journey. Goals is a measurement of my destination. So that gold medal, great. Put it in a pocket, go. That's why people feel depressed once they have achieved their goals, because there's great happiness in growth. The secret to happiness is growth. Seek growth, growth. If I made 2 million tomorrow morning, I'm looking for ways to challenge myself. Growth. The middle part is growth. So gratitude, growth, and goals.
Fantastic. Beautifully said. And I couldn't agree anything less. Let's take 2 steps backward a little bit. Who's Jackson?
Wow, that's a wonderful question. I'd like to describe myself as a Rubik's Cube, multifaceted, multiple colors, and I bring joy to you. For me, I am the epitome of joy and happiness, that whatever I do, wherever I am, I have to get you in touch with your happiness by me getting in touch with mine. So if I light up, something in you must light up. And I'm fueled by life, LIFE. L is love. I'm driven by love, obsessed with love. The second is I, in integrity. There's one thing to be loving, but it's one thing to walk with integrity. The third is fun. I love to have fun. And then the final E in life is excellence, because whatever you do, do it with excellence. So in a nutshell, I am joy. Someone described me as a big hug. That's me. I want you to feel the hug. Because, you're going to be tired sometimes. You're going to be frustrated sometimes. You won't get it sometimes. And sometimes it's not an advice you want. Sometimes you just want a big hug. And that big hug helps you to reconnect with the child in you, the happiness in you, so that the adult up here can get the breather to go and do what they need to do. Just a big hug.
I really agree with what you said, the child in you aspect, because my son is 15 now and he's growing, he's going through his own thing at the moment. And I remember recently we had a very intense conversation, probably about a year ago, we had a very intense conversation with him. And instantly, the Holy Spirit just said to me, just look at him being that little boy you carried. Just look at him.
Yeah.
Don't look at that boy. Look at the little boy you carried.
Yeah.
And as soon as I looked at that little boy, whatever he said did not make sense. Whatever he said that I was trying to correct. I saw that little boy. I wasn't angry. I wasn't upset. I was just like, okay, let me speak to that little boy. And I started to speak to that little boy. And guess what happened? He backtracked.
That's it.
And he said, "Oh, Daddy, actually, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk to you." I said, "No, because as an African child, as a Nigerian child, there's certain things that you must understand, are culture-wise. Respect is something that we love as Africans. So you dare not do A, B, or C because somebody else did A, B, or C, and you think is okay.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And that's not okay. We don't insult our elders. We don't talk to our elders in that certain way. And I noticed that the argument was actually, I can talk however I like. And that was the correction. And I was trying to correct him. It was like, the Oyinbo in him was trying to come out, right? So those of you who don't understand what I'm trying to say, the Oyinbo in him means that he was trying to, obviously, the environment of how he's been raised, which is the British environment, the society. And instantly, I had to look down to that baby that baby child. And sometimes that's what we have to do as entrepreneurs. We have to sometimes reverse backwards into that boy child that we were, happy, bubbly, adventures.
That's it.
Happily, bubbly adventures, not allowing your dream. When we were children, we wanted to build a castle.
Yeah, and we wanted to have some fun. And I think there's something to be said about, first of all, let me go back to the African way of, for the African people who raise your children, please connect before you correct. Mm-hmm. We're so obsessed with correction that you got no connection, so correction cannot sit. And most entrepreneurs who hail from the African background are walking around with trauma in their heads and in their heart because they didn't have the relationships. And so it's so important that we raise children with love. They were built out of love. Imagine you pray for a child, and when a child comes, you're like, why are you pushing them away? Or did you just have the child for the sake of having a child? Did you have a mission and a focus for that child? And then we miss it when it comes to pouring love in them. And that's why they go wayward, whether mentally, emotionally, and then they end up, if they go into entrepreneurship, they're treating people badly because they didn't get their full love from day one. So I think it's essential of really tapping into that child. For me as an entrepreneur, I am the most childish. Okay. Well, childlike, not childish. Well, sometimes I am childish. But what it does is it resonates with the entrepreneur in you because we're humans.
Yeah.
When the guard is dropped, we can connect. Once we connect, watch this. Entrepreneurs watching, connect first with people, okay? Then you can collect if you want to. But first is connection. People want to collect the cash without connection.
Yeah. And that's why if you notice what most successful entrepreneurs always say is people buy from who they like, trust. And obviously there's massive connection elements in there. And for me, honestly, this is one of the things that I stand for, always connecting with people, always empowering people, always uplifting people. I learned one of the greatest mentors I've ever had, Sir Richard Branson. I listened to a lot of his content and all of this. He says, don't employ the CV, employ the person. Whatever that CV look like, academic qualification, everything else, put it aside. Employ that individual's experience, employ that personal touch, that connection of that person getting the job done. Because sometimes we're so focused on the experience. What have you done? What have you done? What have you done? What have you done? But can you actually connect with that person? So Jackson, moving away from that, you're so big on other people's perceptions. Do you think a lot of other people's perception has a lot to do in this topic, what we're having now?
I can't release my product because what if they don't like it? What would people think? And I've heard a lot of female entrepreneurs and male entrepreneurs talk about what would people think. They weren't there when you were given your gift. They weren't there when you got the idea. Why are you now putting them in the picture? Other people's opinion has become one thing that I'm so against because I've seen how it can erode your confidence and your character, that I actively go out to provoke people's opinion so that my brain can get used to we don't live by their opinion. And so if you live by people's opinion, you will die by people's opinion. But if you live above people's opinion, you will be untouched by it. My wife was saying to me the other day, we were just discussing that, wow, if she was to become really famous and people were attacking her online, she was thinking, how would I handle it? For me, I would just laugh at people's opinion. I would empathize with them because you got to protect yourself from that. Because most people online now, they don't realize that they're building a brand to impress people. That's dangerous.
Very.
Don't do that. Because if they don't like the post, what are you going to do? But the post came from a very sincere place, but because they don't like it, like me online, I am myself. And I stay true to that. I don't have lots of thousands of millions of followers, but I like the fact that I am following my heart. Yeah. And whoever follows me as a result of following my heart, then I'm cool. Yeah. There's things that I can do to boost my followership. I don't need to do that. So never, and I learned this from Les Brown, never let people's opinion become your reality.
Yeah. I totally agree. I totally agree. Never allow other people's opinion. But it's a topic that is the reality of many. It is the reality of many about what people think. People think, the other day someone said to me, you talk about leverage a lot, because I do. I talk about raising money because I do.
Yeah.
These are things that I did, to grow my business. And somebody said to me, in a certain way, what do you, I see what you do. What are you doing that is different that can make me work with you? I said, well, it's simple. Every single point in time, I speak from the heart. I do. The Daniel you see on Instagram is the same Daniel you see in the conference room. Doesn't matter. This is the same Daniel that you see on Instagram, on my podcast. And then I go in the bus from Bromley High Street. So the other day, myself and the kids, we took a stroll to Bromley High Street, and then we got a bus back. And whilst we were in the bus, someone saw me in the bus. Oh my God, I'm like, oh, you're in the bus. I'm like, and so? I'm a human. Just because you watch me on my YouTube channel doesn't make me different.
Yeah.
And besides, I enjoyed going out on a summer afternoon with my children, walking up to walking all the way 30 minutes or whatever, how many minutes walk it was, from one point to the other to Bromley High Street, and then obviously, taking the bus back, because you need to connect with people. You need to understand, it's so important that you don't allow, because there's some people who become famous, obviously some extremely famous, where security may be the challenge. That's why they will never go on the public transport. Maybe that's why, I don't know. Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is, some people, the moment they achieve some very small level of success, people's opinion becomes the center of their functioning.
That you have people, whether there are people who are not successful still have that disease. And this is why, for me, I think it's important for any entrepreneur to make sure they make their opinion the most important opinion, and the opinion of God that created them, their opinion. And for those who don't believe in God, find a way to really honor yourself. Because I always ask myself, if you don't pay my bills and you don't give me oxygen, I don't care what you think. The only opinion that matters are the opinions of those who I care about. And even then, I have to be careful. I know the voice in my head, and that's the voice I am following. And and don't get me wrong, I do take on opinions. Like, my brother is a very close advisor of mine. And when he's talking, I'm listening, because I don't know what he knows. So I take on his opinion. So I only take opinion of people who I know, love, and trust to have my back. But if I don't know you on social media, why am I going to factor in? Nowadays, everybody has their opinion too quickly. And because you see how people tag people, you're scared to launch out. And that's one of the key things why people don't launch. Because they've already got indoctrination of, they won't like me if I. Listen, day one is better than day none. Step out. Don't care what people think. They'll laugh at you on the way up. They'll laugh at you on the way down. They'll always be laughing. So they might as well laugh. But the key thing is, you're doing what makes you happy.
Totally agree. Family. I see a lot of your answers as being centered around family. Yeah. My family means a lot to me. Like, I don't go most business events without my wife. Sometimes it's business events with my wife and my kids, and I just love it. So the business is the family is the business. Everything just intertwined together. So we do everything together. And I obviously see that in you as well. I have seen sometimes you and your children, having that family time.
Yeah.
How important is it for entrepreneurs to kind of being able to center, family with business so that they're not far apart?
Yeah. There's a quote I have that says, people are all about chasing a bag. I said, don't be so caught up chasing a bag that one day you might end up in a bag. And whilst you're chasing a bag, take family with you. So if the bag is empty, at least family's there to support you. We come from Nigeria, and there was times, many of us in Nigeria growing up, we didn't have lots of money at all.
No.
But yet we felt good. Why? We had family. And it's so interesting that I can still remember there was a time where there was rice and there was stew, but there wasn't enough stew in the rice for the rice. So my mom would then pour the stew, put it all together. There wasn't enough to put on each other's plate. So here's your spoon, eat from the pot. And although there was lack in the food, but there was abundance in the connection that we had. And the reason why family for me is so essential is because when business is not going the way I want it to go, family will give me that lift and that energy that I need. And when it's all said and done, ready to cross over to the other side, is it my bank balance am I going to look at? Or am I going to look at the deposits I've made in the people around me who are core family? And if you do ask people, very successful people who are way, way, way older, who have made billions, not millions, billions, and say, what was one thing you regret? And they'll say, not spending enough time with my family. They built the businesses. Because I often say, I can hire another CEO for my business, but I can never hire a husband for my wife or a father for my daughters. That's my role. And so I work hard to have CEOs in positions to do my bidding and go and do that while I do my stuff. There's times where I'm cleaning the house because I know as soon as my wife wakes up, she would love it that the kitchen looks amazing because she's been too tired to do it herself. So we have each other's back like that.
Yeah.
The family's foundation, man. If you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a single entrepreneur, married entrepreneur, please, 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 so important. I say to people, learn how to make that a firm foundation. Family first, finance second. You know, and with family, it's not the quality of time, it's the quality of time, not the quantity of time.
Mm-hmm.
But make sure you tick that box daily.
Totally agree with you. One thing that someone made me realize recently when I said I was somewhere and I said I had been married for over 15 years, you know, and at that time, my marriage was about 15. My marriage is 17 years, I go into 18. And he said, son, if you can keep a marriage for 15 years, how old are you? I think at that time I was just about 40 or so. And he said, if you can keep a marriage for 15 years and you're 40, wow. And instantly, I had a light bulb in me and actually realized, through the hooks, through the challenges we've been through, myself and my wife, we have actually kept a marriage of 15 years at that time. And the truth is that it's not easy to keep a marriage these days, especially when people get, I've seen a lot of people that got married yesterday and they got divorced today.
Yeah.
All right. And obviously, possibly because of a few things that they wasn't aware. Because it's like people thinking they go into marriages and they expect the marriage to be perfect. Or it's like people getting into entrepreneurship and expecting that they're going to be automatically financially ahead and otherwise. Yeah. But actually now getting in, discovering it wasn't for them and people going back, you know, to doing what they need to do. Now, as we go through to the end of this episode, what can entrepreneurs understand and learn that everything is built on the back of family? Everything is built on the back of not listening to what other people's opinion are to them, or, you know, take other people's opinion, but take advice from the right person. I always say, don't go to the wrong person for the right advice, right? And how do people center all these different things in steps so they can actually start becoming the greatest version for themselves as an entrepreneur?
Create an Excel sheet. Okay. And in the Excel sheet, write down the people who are important to you, and then, you know, do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and make a decision that I will spend some time, intentional time. Chart your connection with these things. How many times gratitude? Because when you put numbers, this is funny. We have a bank account for money, but we don't have an account for how many times we spent with our wives or with our daughters. I make sure that I measure it. If you can measure it, you manage it. And so measure it. If it's important to you, write it down. This week, I want to spend 3 times with X. Cool. And then tick. At the end of the week, if you've only done 3, great. If you've only done 1, you know, next week, you got to gauge up a little. So that's one thing I would say. Have you been grateful this week? Have you spent time with family this week? Have you done workout this week? Like this week for me, all right, you know, I've done my workout twice. So I'm feeling good. You know, that's poor by the end of the week if I've only done twice. Minimum of a week is 5 times. So if you measure it, it will go up. Don't rely on your emotions. Rely on your standards, because emotions go up and down. But when you stand on your standards, they'll keep you going. And also surround yourself with mentors who get it right. Not social media mentors. Everybody's showing their trailer and their highlight on social media. Get to sit with people. Ask them questions, the real questions. And don't be fazed by people's 6 figures out there. Let that attract you in, but ask deeper questions. How are you? How's your family? If you sit with the mentor and you ask them how's your family, if they don't have a good answer, run. Grab the money advice and run. But then find somebody else that will give you family advice. You need to be holistic.
Yeah.
You need to be holistic. So that's it. Measure it. Measure how many times you spend with people. Measure how happy you are. But don't let money be the measure of your success. Let it be one of the measures of your success, not the only measure of your success. Because the money will go up and down.
I love that. It's something that just came out from that question, from that answer you gave to me now. Jackson. Black entrepreneurs on the startup to grow phase of their business who are married.
Yeah.
How can they unite? You have a successful marriage. I have a successful marriage. But how can they unite? You're a coach yourself. I'm a coach myself. And one of the things I've come to really see and observe, within people who are trying to build, it's a lot of disagreements rather than, unity.
Yeah,
in marriage to grow a business. Obviously, because, in this country that we are, the man's money is the man's money, the woman's money is the woman's money. How can entrepreneurs unite to build in a divided?
You got to understand that there is a bigger picture to your marriage. And your marriage is supposed to serve the business. If you're working together in the business, it's one thing. But I think unity is to understand that don't ever put business above family. Don't ever put business above that woman. I'm talking from a man's point of view right now. Because there was something a woman wants attention all the time. In her head and in her soul, she wants attention all the time. And if anything is second to her, if she's second to anything, it's going to be a fight. Oftentimes when a woman is fighting you or fighting something, they're not fighting that thing. They're fighting the fact that you haven't given them what they needed, which is attention. A woman loves attention. There's times my wife will be on a Zoom call and I'll just make a hot coffee and I take it to her and just leave it beside and I just walk off. That's a moment to say, hey, I see you. I care for you. So for a man, look after that woman. Pay attention to her. When she changes her hair, connect. Hey, I see you. She just wants to be seen. And for the woman, the man wants to be respected. Don't talk anyhow to him. He'll make mistakes. Not from your mouth. You see, you again. How many times? It's the worst thing a man can really hear. I remember the time we were going through that financial journey and my wife could see that my countenance had changed and my aura, my energy had gone. And all she did was grab my hand. She's like, babes, everything's going to be all right. Bro, the superpower that came in me is like, just from her touch and her words. And so please, it's so important for us to look after each other. That's the real business. Do you do profit and loss management for your marriages? Do you sit and say, babes, I asked my wife, just on the way here, are you happy? What would make you happy? And she said, I'm like, cool. I'm going to go make sure it happens. Ask on a Zoom. Just because you're in the same house and you're not arguing doesn't mean things are going well.
Yep.
Are you happy, babes? But because I don't want to disturb him. He's so busy. No, he needs to be busy looking after you so that you can give him the energy to go out and make that business a success. So this is a whole nother topic about marriage, because for me, I'm big on marriage. I really think if you're making 6 figures in a bank account and your wife is not happy, you're a failure.
The reason why I know you said just now, this is a whole other topic. For me, I've been married for 17 years. I've known my wife for 18 years, but I've come to realize all these different components is what makes a successful entrepreneur.
Yeah.
The successful entrepreneur is like a vehicle. You have 4 wheels. The car needs 4 wheels to drive. So my wife drives, a car. If there is no 2 tires in that car, the car's not going to drive. Yeah. So marriage is one part.
Yeah.
Children, part of the vehicle.
Yeah.
Our happiness, part of the vehicle.
Yeah.
What we said we're going to do today is the vehicle. So all these different things has to be, is like tick for that vehicle to move.
Yeah.
Because if one is out of it, it's not going to move.
That's it.
And part of the reason why entrepreneurs who have maybe starting entrepreneurship, they have their wife with them, and if they miss one of the two parts, it struggles. The vehicle could have been able to drive a bit faster, but it can't drive faster because one tire is missing. Or for example, the tire is, there is less air in the tire. So it's very important that we understand that, first we've got to be happy, find happiness. I spoke about happiness in my first book, Rent to Rent Made Easy, where I specifically talked about happiness, the role happiness has to play in your business. Because why am I saying all of this? Because when I went through that dark time in 2015, it was the shaking for me to transition to become this different person, understanding, okay, you've got to bring this with you, you've got to bring that with you, you've got to bring your A game on. And your A game on has to be your happiness, your peace. I can't say that again. Your peace. Let me repeat myself. Because peace, when you're peaceful, a clouded mind cannot create. If your mind is clouded, you're thinking about 1 billion things, So I had to unlearn so many things, and I had to understand the importance of this. And I remember going back to my wife, and I said to my wife in 2016, when I was gradually, rediscovering myself again, and I said, babes, give me 5 years. 5 years, you have to leave your job, and we're going to keep building until we build to where we are. And when she came in last year, he's been in the corporate role for like 25 good years. And when she came in, she expected things to be lush, all perfect. And I said, no, it's not. It's because we're still building. And I said, if it was perfect whilst we're building, you would have come in, you probably wouldn't appreciate it. But now we're building together. And she appreciates every single part of it. And then she had to transition from what she's been doing for 25 years of her life to now being able to think a bit deeper. So yes, it's not a managed podcast, but it's so important for us to understand the importance of how every single, your children, what you eat, how you talk, every single thing has a role to play in your success as a business owner or as an entrepreneur.
Definitely. It's so true, because I make sure that when I look at people, you want to measure all those areas, fitness, your faith, your family, your finances, and also what are you doing for fun? And and when you have all of that together, so marriage, relationships, make sure you nurture that, because that's what gives fuel and food to the drive that you put into. And sadly, the society we live in has made great emphasis on success, in business and entrepreneurship, but very rarely do you see marriage conferences and emphasis on relationship building, because I think now the climate is money. It's even 11-year-olds are talking about money. That's how you know. And it's dangerous. It's a dangerous carrot, because while everybody's running after money, there is danger behind closed doors. People are just losing themselves. So even sitting here right now has got me sort of thinking about how I can reach people with happiness using the money avenue to dangle in front of you.
Yeah. I shared something, in the last 6 months, I used to wake up very early in the morning, like 5:30 a.m., go for a run and everything. In the last 6 months, I discovered that I was enjoying sleep in the morning. I just discovered 6 months, I started enjoying. I felt like I needed to chill and sleep.
Yeah. See? That's you listening to you.
So I listened to me that I needed to rest. I needed to sleep. And trust me, before I would have fought it, but instead of running all the time, I discovered just take a walk.
Yeah.
And trust me, it's been a transformational thing for me. So, and these are things you must do in business. Sometimes we go. I literally had an advice to someone recently, and I said, sometimes you just have to listen.
Yeah. And it's the listening. There's times I've listened, like, you need to chill, you need to eat, you need to do this. Because our bodies and our mind is our best teacher.
Yeah.
No one's going to tell you what's going on through you. But if you don't learn to listen to the inner voice, that's the only voice you've got. Some people call it intuition. Some people call it the Holy Spirit. Listen.
Just listen.
Just pay attention. And for me, I love listening to that voice. It guides me every day. I mean, as I was waiting for the podcast, I was just sitting, and there was a squirrel by your window, and I was just watching the squirrel. I was like, wow, how much stress is this squirrel going through right now? None. Okay, and and listening also. There's so much to listen to around us. Nature, there's beauty, and there's wealth in that. Just being still. What are we building? Even half the stuff you're building, when it's all said and done, who's going to own it? So enjoy it. Fulfillment is the key. That's the aim.
Wow, Mr. Jackson, it's been amazing having you on the Wealth and Business Podcast. How can people reach you, and what service do you offer to help people?
So I live on Action Jackson Live on Instagram, as well as Twitter or X at Action Jackson. And one of the things I've been working on is helping people with not only happiness, but becoming fearless speakers. Because some people are scared of public speaking, and you don't have to be. Everybody has a voice and it should be heard. So I do have a free course that people can actually connect with to help them with their happiness. So definitely that's something I do have on offer for entrepreneurs who find it hard to tap into their happiness and communicate fearlessly. Because I believe as entrepreneurs, if you can't talk about your ideas, you failed.
You failed, yeah.
So you need to learn how to fearlessly communicate your ideas to people.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Jackson, on being on the Wealth and Business Podcast. And we cannot wait. We've got a lot of things on the pipeline that we're looking to do together. And one of the reasons why I love the Wealth and Business Podcast is I look at people that could, subsequently be one of our guests at one of our live events. And we come here first to establish that relationship and then bring it to the live audience. So I'm so excited. I've seen you on stage a couple of times. Your energy is fire. And I'm looking forward to having you on one of our events.
Indeed.
Thank you so much for being here.
Pleasure.
And we'll see you soon.
Indeed. Thank you very much for everyone listening.
Thank you. So guys, make sure you follow the show notes. Action Jackson's links will be on the show notes below the video. So make sure you connect with him, reach out to him if you want to become a fearless speaker. We'll see you soon. Take care.